to do if you can't meditate. This is a subject I'm going to cover in this video because it's a question that comes up a lot. And the first thing I want to share with you on this is to give yourself a break and know that it is absolutely okay and even somewhat normal for you if you're having a problem meditating, because a lot of what we see out there is that, you're supposed to just close your eyes, meditate deeply for an hour and be zen and connected. And I know from my own experience when I started meditation back in 2012, 2013, that it was incredibly difficult when I first started. So I want to just give you a couple of pointers so you know what to do. Or also it could even be that you were able to meditate before and it was a good feeling, and then you've gone into a space of maybe just finding it difficult again, and then sometimes we beat ourselves up. So number one thing I want to share with you is that nothing's gone wrong. It's to do with our nervous systems and the way that our body is, so that when we close our eyes and we try and go inwards and we try and clear our mind, which is another myth I'll talk about in a second, it can feel really, really difficult to just switch off all the noise outside because we're so revved up. So on my journey, when I started, I got into meditation and like all the inner work as a result of me being really significantly stressed and burnt out. And I had a really debilitating condition, ME, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia as a result. So when I first started, I couldn't just relax and rest because my nervous system was revved up. So you might be feeling, if this is you might be feeling even tired, but also wired. There's this kind of wired, revved up thing that we've got in our systems. This can happen when we're just stressed, overwhelmed, we've got a lot going on. And like I said, even it could come from, you might have had a period of being able to meditate and relax, and now you find yourself in this other period where you can't switch off. So it's probably something to do with that, because that's a really common one. Most people I work with have this going on. That's really common. And also secondly, it can be to do with the expectations. So we talk a lot about meditation in society nowadays. It's much more mainstream. It's much more maybe kind of socially acceptable to talk about it. But what we don't talk about is actually meditation is a practice. So it's not that you just put on a guided meditation or just breathe in silence on your own and you're suddenly just going to be able to be really good at it. So if you can just shift right now into it's a practice. So if you have days where you don't quite get it or days where you don't feel like it's working, that is okay. I'm going to share something with you in a minute that will help. You can actually practically do, but know that it is a practice. And the way that I sort of see it, and I've shared it with many people over the years, it's like as if you are choosing to learn an instrument. So let's say you're choosing to take up the piano and you tinker along the keys and you can't make that tune, and then you give up because you think you're not a good pianist. But actually no, it's like it's going to take dedication, it's going to take practice. The more you do it, the better you become, and then you start to find your melodies and your fingers move, and it starts to feel more natural. So meditation is really a practice. I feel like I've been doing it now for 10 years, like a decade of meditation. And even now, depending on how I am, like I'm very, very, very practiced at meditation, but I can still have those days where if I am in a bit of a spin or some life stuff's happened and I feel more stressed than usual, meditation will feel harder on those days because it takes a bit more doing to kind of just drop in, and when we're revved up, our physical body is doing something else, even though we want to relax and meditate and tune in. So I want to share with you this practice, a really, really quick technique, and it's one that I still use, and it's just to bridge the gap, and it will help you get back into your body so that you can find it a little bit easier over time to just drop in. So it's called the touch and breathe, and it's a very, very easy exercise. For those of you who are familiar with EFT, we're using just the same acupressure points. So what this is we're just touching on various acupressure points around the body and taking a breath as we do it. I'm going to do it with you in a minute. And the reason why this is so effective is because these acupressure points send an amazing calming signal to the amygdala in the brain, and it sends a calming signal to your nervous system. So what we're doing is we're we're being in the moment, we're breathing, which is what we want to do with meditation, right? But we're sending a calming signal to the nervous system, and we start to get the message that we're okay. We can come down a notch and we can just bridge the gap. So this is a practice that I use whenever I feel a little in overwhelm. I use it between client sessions just to kind of clear the energy, get myself back into my own space. I use it if my head starts going, because it does, and I start to think of too many things. So I'll just show it with you now. So just show it to you now. So just take a moment, and if you're not in a space where you can do this, definitely come back to this video so you can try it. So it's very simple, just taking 2 fingers and we're just placing above the eyebrow. It doesn't matter which side. I'm right-handed, so it feels natural to go to my right side, but just do whatever feels good for you. So we're just holding above, there's like a point above the eyebrow there, and we're just going to hold that point and just take a breath in and exhale. Now you don't have to follow along with my breath. Use your own breath. If it's deeper and slower, if it's quicker, just go with your breath. And then we're going to move around side of the eye and we're going to take a breath. And exhale. Good. And then we're going to go under the eye. Take a gentle breath all the way in. And exhale. We don't have to think, we don't have to focus. We're just going to breathe. So there's one in between the nose and the top lip. Take a breath. And exhale. Good. And then in the middle of the chin, taking a gentle breath. And exhale. Good. And the next one is just along the collarbone. So we're just going to place a hand there along the collarbone and just taking a breath there. And as you do, you might even notice, you might even gravitate towards this place when you're feeling a bit stressed, overwhelmed. Just taking a couple of breaths there if you want. Good. And the last couple of points, we're going to have one at the side of the body. So it's just sort of side of the body there. And we're just going to hold that point. Take a breath. And exhale. Good. And then the final one is on top of the head, where all the meridian points come together. Taking a breath. And exhale. Good. And if you want, you can go around again. I like to go around a couple of times and just check in and see how you feel. And what you might find, you know, it's different for everyone, but you might just find you just drop down a little bit. It's a very soothing, calming technique for your nervous system. If if you really feel revved up, go around, definitely go around twice, maybe even 3 times. Do as many times as you feel. And you can use this anytime. And what I used to like to do, if I wanted to meditate, I used to do this just before a meditation. So instead of just going from my life into a meditation and then my brain and my mind would be spiraling, I would do this technique. I do 2 or 3 of them, get myself a little bit more grounded, a little bit more into the body. And then from there, you can try a meditation or however you want to do it, or just take some time to relax. Even if you use this and, you know, create your own form of meditation. So sometimes when I just wasn't in the mood to meditate, and that's allowed, by the way, like you're not a bad person, right? If you don't want to do it. Sometimes I just don't want to do it. So I will just maybe get a cup of tea or something, and I'll do 2 or 3 of those, and I'll just sit. And then I'll just drink my cup of tea and I'll play some music that just makes me feel good, and just getting into the body and getting present. So there's lots of different ways, and I may do another video on other ways. So pop me a comment below if there's anything you want to ask me on this, or any further questions you've got around this topic, because it's one that keeps a lot of people stuck. But try this technique, see what it feels like, really do it. This isn't one just to watch, this is one for you to do. And know that meditation's a practice, and there are so many ways to meditate, you know, and it's very normal. I want you to know it's very normal if you struggle with this, because so many people beat themselves up, and it's very, very normal. All right, so I send you lots of love. I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you again in the next video. Okay.